Tonight, the Charlotte, North Carolina City Council will focus on a divisive LGBT proposal that would affect religious liberties. The controversial proposal would make changes to the city's non-discrimination policies already in place. It has caused a grassroots movement called Don't Do It, Charlotte to rise in objection to the possibility. And joining us now by Skype is Executive Pastor of First Baptist Church in Charlotte, Dr. Mark Harris. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Harris.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you, Mark.
Non-discrimination sounds like a good thing, but we know there are some alarming concerns surrounding what this could mean for the city. What are your top concerns for Charlotte?
Well, we've got several serious concerns. This is probably the first time in history that we have seen a protected class created for behavior, and I think that's extremely concerning. But when you really get down to this particular ordinance, we have the concern, of course, that has probably caught the most attention, and that is the public accommodation part, which allows a transgender individual to choose whichever restroom they actually feel they best identify with. So you run the risk, of course, of males going into women's restrooms, and that creates all kinds of obvious hazards and concerns. But the greater concern, I think, that we've been trying to voice across the city and really sound the warning across the state, but is the very fact that this really ordinance would begin to take this protected class and put us in the very position that so many business owners are starting to find themselves in across the country when they are told that they have to check their faith or check their religious conviction at the door of their business. That is extremely concerning to us.
What is Don't Do It, Charlotte doing to send the City Council your message?
Well, Don't Do It Charlotte has been a phenomenal movement that has just sort of taken hold over just the last really 2 weeks. They've been very active in getting petition signatures, very active in promoting emails to be sent. I talked to a councilman just last night who said he personally had received over 8,000 emails, and they're running overwhelmingly. 7.5 to 8 out of every 10 emails they're receiving are people that are opposed to this. So we're getting the message to the council members through emails, through phone calls. There are op-eds that are being written to the paper, letters to the editor going to the paper. And then, of course, this afternoon, actually, about an hour prior to the council meeting itself, there's going to be a rally that's going to be held just outside the government center.
Now, why now? Why is this on the table for Charlotte when you say there has been no evidence to prove there is a need for this change?
Well, Mark, I think that's probably the most concerning thing to me personally, is what you have is an organization called MECPAC, which is the LGBT Political Action Committee, that evidently in November decided to pitch their idea to the Charlotte City Council. And next thing you know, after pitching their idea, the City Council asked the city attorney to look into the matter, to draw up a proposal, and to come back with information for and against. Well, the tragedy of that is the more you talk to council members, they never had an opportunity to really hear and understand the issues as they really are. And particularly those that would have the concerns that we have not been invited to the table. We haven't been invited to give our ideas even in the crafting of this proposal. So that's one reason that I personally am calling on the council tonight to do their due diligence, and let's stop and allow individuals on both sides of this issue to perhaps come to the table and find some solutions that could unite the city of Charlotte, not just divide. And that's what this proposal does. It divides and it robs folks of their First Amendment rights. And that's very concerning to us.
You've gotten the Alliance Defending Freedom Legal Group to write up an analysis of the proposal. What did they find?
Oh, listen, they have been just so valuable in what they have brought to the table. I've had council members that have expressed to me that this was the kind of other side of the issue that needed to be presented when it initially came to the council. So it's been tremendous. They have found great concerns, obviously, about how this is going to violate free speech and the free exercise of religion. they have found actually that this document is already in many ways unconstitutional in the state of North Carolina. In 2003, just 12 years ago, the North Carolina Supreme Court struck down an ordinance out of Orange County that used some of the very same language in trying to expand into the protected classes of people. And so when you've got something in front of you that the state Supreme Court has already said doesn't hold water, then why in the world would you pass that and ask for the lawsuits that are most likely to come?
Some other cities across the country have approved similar ordinances. What are we seeing as a result?
Well, one of the things that excites me, quite frankly, is in some places like Houston, Texas, and Fayetteville, Arkansas, city council rammed this through. Then the people got involved and realized in Houston, of course, all the world's eyes were turned to Houston last fall when pastors began to get petitions and signatures together in order to get a referendum before the people. And that's when you had the nightmare develop of the mayor asking her attorney to begin to subpoena sermons, and that was just unheard of in our country. Well, in Fayetteville, Arkansas, when it went to the people in a referendum, they overwhelmingly voted it down. To this day, it's my understanding that in Houston, they are still caught up in a legal battle down there just for the rights of the people to go ahead and vote. Here in Charlotte, we don't have any other recourse. If this city council passes this proposal, then our only recourse is to replace the city council members who will vote for it tonight, because we don't have the recourse of getting signatures and putting it in the form of a referendum to the people. So a lot of folks need to be paying attention to this tonight so that our elected officials will be held accountable.
All right, Dr. Harris, the executive pastor of First Baptist Church in Charlotte. Thank you so much again for your time, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.